Now, thank you all for joining. Let's start with Kirtan.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Om Jnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Dishitarini Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta-vrinda Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta-vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Jaya Gurudeva Jaya Gurudeva Jaya Gurudeva Jaya Gurudeva Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Jagadguru Srila Prabhupada Nitai Gaur Hari Bol Hari Bol Nitai Gaur Hari Bol. Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam. Thank you all for joining and wish you all a very, very happy Nityanand Trayodashi. Today is a very special day and we are very fortunate that this came on a Thursday. So we are able to read Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita together and glorify Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda together. So we are on the 22nd chapter of Lila, and the 71st verse was discussed by the Chandrika Mataji yesterday. So we'll start from verse number 72 onwards. Now, these verses and the section that we are going to discuss today are very, very important practically for us, because we are going to learn about the various qualities of devotees and the importance of devotee association. Okay, so we all know that devotee association is very important. We all know that what qualities are good for devotees to cultivate. But today we are going to discuss about these qualities and the importance of devotee association in more detail. So very, very important section. So from verse 75 to 92 is where the qualities, Vaishnava qualities and Vaishnava association is going to be described. So we'll try to complete, by Krishna's mercy, we'll try to complete till verse 92 today. And if time permits, we will also spend a few minutes singing one bhajan in the glorification of Lord Nityananda. Okay. Uma Devi Mataji, you want to read?
Yes, Mataji. Hare Krishna Mataji. Dandavat Pranam. Sarva Bhuteshu Yap Pasyed Bhagavat Bhavam Atmanaha Bhutani Bhagavati Atmani Esa Bhagavatottamaha. Translation by His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. A person advanced in devotional service sees within everything the soul of souls, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna. Consequently, he always sees the form of the Supreme Personality of Godhead as the cause of all causes and understands that all things are situated in him. Hare Krishna. Purport. This is a quotation from Srimad Bhagavatam 11.2.45. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. So today's section, we'll have many references from Srimad Bhagavatam, and some very, very important shlokas from Srimad Bhagavatam will also come. So in this section that we had started discussing yesterday, there was a description of the different categories of devotees, the different classifications of devotees. So Uttam Adhikari, Madhyam Adhikari, Kanishta Adhikari, like that. So here it is being mentioned that how a pure devotee of Krishna sees everything, right? So here it is mentioned that a person advanced in devotional service sees within everything the soul of souls, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna. Consequently, he always sees the form of the Supreme Personality of Godhead as the cause of all causes, and understand that all things are situated in him. So for a pure devotee, it's not a mechanical exercise that he has to force himself or herself to see Krishna's presence or to feel Krishna's presence. For them, everything, is coming from Krishna. In every single atom, Krishna is there, and they are able to see it very easily. So for a pure devotee, it's a very natural thing, to see that how every single jiva, whether big or small, is dependent on Krishna, and how all entities, whether in the spiritual world or in the material world, they have no existence without Krishna. So pure devotees see this not just theoretically, but because their eyes are tinged with the salve of love, prema. So for them, it is very, very natural. Like, for example, once Srila Prabhupada was on a beach in the US, and it was a very beautiful, clean beach, and the sky was blue. So Prabhupada, even in that situation where a person might actually get lost in the beauty of the place, seeing the beauty and the blue waters and the blue sky, one may get lost in that beauty. But for Prabhupada, this was also a reminder of Krishna. So he was telling his disciple that how can one not remember Krishna here? Everything is created by Krishna. So for a pure devotee, it comes very naturally, seeing Krishna everywhere. Okay. Now we'll go to 73. Raji Lakshmi Mataji. Mataji, you want to read?
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
ईश्वरे तद् अधिनेषु बलिशेषु दृष्टाशु च प्रेमा मैत्री कृपोपेक्षा यः करोति स मध्यमः. Translation: An intermediate second-class devotee shows love for the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He is friendly to all devotees and is very merciful to neophytes and ignorant people. The intermediate devotee neglects those who are envious of devotional service. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. This is also a quotation from Srimad Bhagavatam 11.2.46. This statement was made by the great sage Narada while he was speaking to Vasudeva about devotional service. This subject was originally discussed between Nimi, the king of Videha, and the 9 Yogendras. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. So here it is the intermediate second-class devotees qualities being discussed. So 4 kind of people and 4 different kind of behavior by this class of devotees. So for the Lord, for other devotees, for the innocent people, and for the blasphemers. Those 4 category of people are being mentioned here. So what is their behavior? They show love for the Supreme Personality of Godhead. For Krishna, there is love. Then for devotees, they are friendly because devotees take us closer to Krishna. So they are friendly with the devotees. Then the innocent people, neophyte, ignorant people, they are merciful to them. They try to give Krishna consciousness to them, preach to them, help them come to the path of Krishna consciousness. And then there are the envious people, the blasphemers. So for them, the intermediate devotee neglects them, neglects those who are envious of devotional service. So keep a long distance. They pray for them. It's not like they have any negativity towards them. They pray for them, but from a distance. They keep some distance from such category of blasphemers. Okay. So 4 categories, 4 different behaviors from the intermediate devotee. Shobha Mataji, you want to read 74?
दंडवत प्रणाम माता जी. कृष्णराज कविराज की जय. नित्यानंद प्रभु की जय. टेक्स्ट नंबर 74. आचार्याण्येव हरये पूज्याम्य श्रद्धाये दत्ते न तत्भक्तेषु चान्येषु सभक्ता प्रकृत स्मृतः. Translation: ये प्राकृत भक्ता or materialistic devotee does not purposefully study the Shastras and try to understand the actual standards of pure devotional service. Consequently, he does not show proper respect to advanced devotees. He may, however, follow the regulative principles learned from his spiritual master or from his family who worships the deity. He is to be considered on a materialistic platform, although he is trying to advance in devotional service. Such a person is a Bhakta Praya, neophyte devotee, or Bhakta Bhasha, for he is a little enlightened by Vaishnava philosophy. Haribol, thank you, Mataji.
Yeah, Mataji, you can read the purport also. Mataji, you're muted.
Haribol, purport by Srila Prabhupada. This verse is also from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 11, Chapter 2, verse 47. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakura says that one who has full love for the Supreme Personality of Godhead and who maintains a good friendship with the Lord's devotee is always callous to those who envy Krishna and Krishna's devotee. Such a person is to be considered an intermediate devotee. He becomes a first-class devotee when, in the course of advancing in devotional service, he feels an intimate relationship with all living entities, seeing them as part and parcel of Supreme Person. Haribol, thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. So a Prakrita Bhakta or a materialistic devotee, that description is coming in this verse. They study Shastra, but not in a very focused way, like the Madhya Madhikari would study. They do study, but not very, with not so much attention. And they don't try to understand the actual standard of pure devotional service. And because of this, what happens is that they're not able to show proper respect to advanced devotees. Because of the principles learned from the spiritual master or because of the family that they are coming from, they may follow the regulative principles. So, but it is mentioned here that they are still considered on the material platform, although he's trying to advance in devotional service. So that is the current position. But such a person, Prabhupada mentions in the purport that in the course of when they meet, or when they start following the principles actually, then they may also advance. Okay, so Prabhupada says that he's quoting from Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur, that one who has full love for the Supreme Lord and who maintains a good friendship with the Lord's devotees is always callous to those who envy Krishna and Krishna's devotee. Such a person is to be considered an intermediate devotee. Okay. So in these verses that we are reading, from the verse 65 onwards and now till 74, the different kind of devotees are being mentioned. Now, the classification of the devotees is also of two types. One is according to the Shraddha that they have, and the second is according to the Rati and Prema. So, according to Shraddha, if we see the classification, then it is Uttamadhikari, Madhyamadhikari, and Kanishtadhikari. And the verses are for Uttamadhikari, verses 65 and 66, for Madhyamadhikari, 67 and 68, and Kanishtadhikari, 69 and 70, where their characteristics, their qualities are mentioned. And for the Rati and Prema classification, it is these verses. 72 is for Uttamadhikari, 73 is for Madhyamadhikari, and 74 is for Prakrita Bhakta, which we have just read. Okay, so Prakrita Bhakta, just to summarize, does not understand the scriptures in a very focused way. Okay, so because of that, they're not able to show proper respect to the advanced devotees. So the learning is that the scriptures are very, very important, and the association of devotees is very, very important. When we have these two things in our life, reading of scriptures and the association of devotees, then even a person who is on the lower categories, whether it is a Kanishta Adhikari or a Prakrita Bhakta, they also get a chance to advance to the higher stages of bhakti. So that is what is coming up in the this section, verses 75 to 92, where we are going to discuss about, we are going to hear about Vaishnav qualities and about Vaishnav association. Okay, so let's go to verse 75. Sumati Mataji, want to read?
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranams. Happy Nityanand Trayodashi to all devotees. Sarva Mahaguna Vaishnava Sharire Krishna Bhakte Krishnera Guna Sakali Sanchare. Translation by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. A Vaishnava is one who has developed all good transcendental qualities, all the good qualities of Krishna, gradually developing Krishna's devotee. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. So the path of bhakti is so powerful. The path of bhakti is so potent, like Mataji was explaining yesterday also, that one naturally develops, all good transcendental quality. Now, this does not mean that we just neglect working on ourselves and we think that, okay, it will automatically happen, all my bad things will go, good things will come. So I don't need to work on myself. It's not that. The path of bhakti is very, very powerful. So it will give us a lot of energy, it will give us a lot of strength. But we do need to watch our behavior also. We do need to keep working and correcting our mistakes also. But we should have faith that with chanting of the Lord's names, with reading of scriptures, with association of devotees, the changes will definitely come. And actually, the path of bhakti is the only path where the heart changes from inside. Otherwise, you can actually practically see in your lives, when we meet other kind of people, they may be very austere, they may be following some very rigorous spiritual principles, and they may know a lot of Shastra. If you see their diet, probably it's more strict than ours also. In different faiths, we will see such people. But when you actually go and learn about their lifestyle, learn about their life, we will know that the conditioning that we have from millions of births, it doesn't go away so easily. So lust, greed, attachment, envy, all these things, they are so deep rooted in our consciousness that it is only bhakti that can actually cleanse our heart from inside out. It is only Krishna's name, it is only devotional service. Nothing else works. You know, because these things, you know, a lot of austerity, a lot of knowing of scriptures actually fills these people's hearts with pride. You know, but bhakti is one path that makes us humbler and humbler. And that is what our acharyas have also taught us, right? That, you know, Trinadapi Sunichena, if we have to chant Krishna's names constantly, we have to become more humble and, you know, more humble than a tree, more tolerant than grass. Otherwise, we cannot chant Krishna's names constantly. And these things, we should not take these superficially. These teachings, if we are required to read the Shikshashtakam daily, read the 10 offenses daily, these are supposed to help us understand that what is that mood that we need to develop in which we can chant Krishna's names constantly and work on ourselves. And then when we are in this mood, then all good transcendental qualities do come. If we see pure devotees of Krishna, you know, are all wonderful devotees that we have in ISKCON and also in the other authorized sampradayas, we see their behavior is so special. So many things that agitate normal people, they don't even affect devotees. So all good qualities of Krishna gradually develop in Krishna's devotee. That is so wonderful. Okay, now let's go to 76. Would someone like to read? So it's a Srimad Bhagavatam shloka meter only, nothing different. Yeah. Krishnamurti Prabhu, want to read?
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Yes, Prabhu.
1 second Mataji.
Yes, Prabhu.
यस्यास्ते भक्तिर्भगवती अकिंचना सर्वैर्गुणास्तत्र समस्ते शूरः हारव अभक्तस्य कुतो महद्गुण मनोरथेनासति द्वावतो बहिः. Am I right, Mataji?
Yes, Prabhu. Absolutely.
Thank you, Mataji. Translation by A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Prabhupada ki jai. In one who has unflinching devotional faith in Krishna, all the good qualities of Krishna and the demigods are consistently manifest. However, he who has no deviation to the Supreme Personality of Godhead has no good qualifications because he is engaged in mental concoction in material existence, which is the external future of the Lord. Purport.
Yes, Prabhu, please.
Purport by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. This was spoken by Prahlad Maharaja and his followers, who were offering praise to Narsimha Deva, Srimad Bhagavatam 5.18.12. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Thank you. So, same point continued here. Another shloka by Prahlad Maharaj quoted that one who has unflinching faith in Krishna, the pure devotee of Krishna, they will get all the good qualities of Krishna and the Devatas, Devis. But a person who has no devotion to Krishna, they don't have these good qualifications. Why? Because they are engaged in mental concoction, and that will keep them bound in the material existence, which is the external feature of Krishna. So it is only by bhakti that one can actually change oneself and develop these wonderful qualities. Okay. Now let's go to the next verse, 77. Lalita Vinodini Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Sai sabha gunahaya Vaishnava lakshana sabha kahanaya kari digdarashana. Translation by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada ki jai. All these transcendental qualities are the characteristics of pure Vaishnavas, and they cannot be fully explained. But I shall try to point out some of the important qualities. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you. So we read in the previous shlokas that all good qualities develop in the devotees. So what are those good qualities? That is what we are going to learn now. So here it is mentioned that all these transcendental qualities are the characteristics of pure Vaishnavas. Obviously, you know, the quality, because Krishna is unlimited, so these qualities will also be unlimited. But some of the important qualities will be mentioned here. So in verse 78 to 80, these qualities, some of these are going to be mentioned. Hare Krishna, Padmini Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Kripalu akrita droha satya sara sama nidosha vadanyaya mridu suchiya kinchana sarvopakaraka shanta krishnaika sarana akama aneha sthira vijita sadguna mita bhuka apramatta manada amani gambhira karuna maitra kavi daksha mauni. Translation by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. Jai Srila Prabhupada. Devotees are always merciful, humble, truthful, equal to all, faultless, magnanimous, mild and clean. They are without material possessions and they perform welfare work for everyone. They are peaceful, surrendered to Krishna and desireless. They are indifferent to material acquisitions and are fixed in devotional service. They completely control the 6 bad qualities lust, anger, greed, and so forth. They eat only as much as required and they are not inebriated. They are respectful, grave, compassionate, and without false prestige. They are friendly, poetic, expert, and silent. Thank you, Mother.
Thank you, Mataji. So these qualities of devotee are mentioned here, and in Madhyam to Uttamadhikari, these qualities are manifest. So what are these qualities? Devotees are always merciful, very, very merciful, because they are para dukha dukhi. They always want to see the welfare of others, and that is why they preach Krishna consciousness. Very humble. They don't expect any man. They don't expect any praise or any respect for themselves, and they are willing to offer respect to everyone. So truthful. Okay, devotees never lie, equal to all. They don't make any distinctions between different categories of society, equal to all, faultless, magnanimous, mild and clean. They have a very big heart because they are thinking of the welfare of the whole, all living entities, mild and clean. So devotees are not agitated and they are clean. They're clean in body, clean in mind. They are without material possessions and they perform welfare work for everyone. So without material possessions, that means they're not attached to material possessions, and whatever possessions they have, they don't have that proprietorship feeling. They use everything in Krishna's service and they perform welfare work for everyone. Peaceful, surrender to Krishna and desireless. Devotees are always peaceful because they don't have hankering for material enjoyment, and the devotees are always surrendered to Krishna. They have taken full shelter of Krishna's lotus feet, and they don't have any material desires. They are indifferent to material acquisitions and fixed in devotional service. So whether something material comes their way or it doesn't, they don't get agitated. And whatever they have, it is only for devotional service. And the 6 bad qualities, they are able to control that, and they eat only as much as is required. They're not inebriated. They are respectful, grave, compassionate. So in Bhagavad Gita also, the 26 qualities of devotees come. We can probably go and read that shloka. And Prabhupada has explained in very great detail in the very beautiful purport. So when we are reading these things, how devotees are friendly, poetic, expert, and silent. Silent means it's not that the devotees don't speak. Silent means they don't speak about anything other than topics of Krishna, and they're very friendly, expert. We see that devotees are able to do so many things. You see, Prabhupada was managing a worldwide organization. Within a span of 12 years, he circled the globe 14 times. He was so good at writing, right? We have these wonderful books that Prabhupada has left his legacy behind. So he was so good at writing. He was so good at deity worship, performing yagyas, so expert at cooking, giving lectures, singing, playing musical instruments, everything, right? So we see that devotees are, all these wonderful qualities are there and devotees, and yet they are so humble and they're using everything in Krishna's service. They don't have that pride of having any of these qualities, but whatever they have, they are using everything in Krishna's service. So now let's go to 81. Rajya Lakshmi Mataji, you want to read?
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Dikshava karunika suhadra sarvade Ajata Shatravasantha Sattva Sadhu Bhushanaha. Translation: Devotees are always tolerant, forbearing, and very merciful. They are the well-wishers of every living entity. They follow the scriptural injunctions, and because they have no enemies, they are very peaceful. These are the decorations of devotees. You want me to read the purport, Mataji?
Yes, Mataji, please.
Purport by Srila Prabhupada. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. This is a quotation from Srimad Bhagavatam 3.25.21, when the sages, headed by Shaunaka, inquired about Kapila Deva, the incarnation of Godhead. Suta Goswami, who was the topmost devotee of the Lord, quoted talks about self-realization between Vidura and Maitreya, a friend of Vyasadeva. During these talks, the topic of Lord Kapila had come up, and at that time Maitreya had repeated Kapila Deva's discussions with his mother, wherein the Lord states that attachment to material things is the cause of conditioned life. When a person becomes attached to conditional things, he is on the path of liberation. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. So this is a very important shloka from Srimad Bhagavatam, where it is mentioned that devotees are always tolerant, forbearing, and very merciful. They are the well-wishers of every living entity. They follow the scriptural injunctions, and because they have no enemies, they are very peaceful. These are the decorations of devotees. So it is explained that devotees, because they are well-wishers of every living entity, if a person is fortunate enough to come in association of a pure devotee, then that person also is saved from drowning in material existence. That is how powerful and potent the association of a devotee is. So His Grace Adisham Prabhu compares the conditioned souls with an iron ring. And if an iron ring is put in water, it will immediately drown. But if there is a wooden plank that will obviously float on the water, and then if this iron ring is placed on that plank, then even this iron ring will float. So the conditioned souls are like the iron ring. If you put them in the water of samsara, they drown. But if the devotees of the Lord, who are compared to the wooden plank, if they get in association of devotees, Uttam Adhikari, then like a wooden plank, they can also float in this. So that is how amazing and how powerful the association of pure devotees is. Okay, now let's go to 82. Padmini Mataji, to read.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Krishna.
Mahatatsevam dvaram ahurvimukte tamodvaram yositam sanghi sangham mahantaste samachitta prashanta vimanayavaha sudra sadhavo ye. Translation by Srila Prabhupada, Jai Srila Prabhupada. It is the verdict of all Shastras and great personalities that service to the pure devotees is the path of liberation. By contrast, association with materialistic people who are attached to material enjoyment and women is the path of darkness. Those who are actually devotees are broad-minded, equal to everyone, and very peaceful. They never become angry, and they are friendly to all the living entities. This verse is from Srimad Bhagavatam 5.5.2. Hare Krishna, thank you.
Thank you so much, Mataji. So further, we have the description of the qualities of devotees. So it is mentioned here that the Shastras and great personalities give this verdict that service to a pure devotee is the path of liberation. So we cannot expect that we can stay in isolation, read the scriptures on our own and become self-realized. No, we have to surrender to a devotee and Tadvidi pranipatena pariprashnena sevya. We have to make humble inquiries and we have to render service to devotees. It is very, very important. And when it comes to service, we should not be choosy that I will do only this particular kind of service, I will not do that particular kind of service. Here also we should show some surrender. That whatever is the need of the hour, whatever our seniors are asking us to do, we should try to do those service. Then it is mentioned that by contrast, association with materialistic people who are attached to material enjoyment and women is the path of darkness. So the path of light is the association of devotees, and if we go associate with Stri Sangis and the materialistic people, that is the path of darkness. Then five qualities of devotees are mentioned here. that they are broad-minded, they are equal to everyone, they're always very peaceful, they never become angry, and they are friendly to all living entities. So what is broad-minded? Broad-minded means that they don't make any distinction between people of different nationalities, different castes, different creed, different gender. They see everyone as a child of God, like Srila Prabhupada. He didn't make any distinction. He gave Hari Nam to everyone. He gave Diksha to everyone, whether they were men or women. And he was criticized that how can you give Diksha to women? How can you allow women to do deity service? How can you give Brahman Diksha to Matajis? But Prabhupada was not making these distinctions based on the physical aspects. He was just seeing the consciousness and giving them Harinam, giving them Diksha. Then equal to everyone, whether it is a person who is very highly educated or illiterate, whether a person is rich or a poor, whether the person is able to do something for us or not, that is not important. They are equal to everyone. So there is no favoritism when it comes to pure devotees. And then peaceful, they're very, very peaceful because they don't have any hankering for material enjoyment. So they are not disturbed and they are always peaceful. And they never become angry unnecessarily for any materialistic reason. And they are friendly to all. Suhrida. Like Krishna is Suhrida, the devotees of Krishna, pure devotees, also become friendly to everyone. Okay. So those are further 5 qualities of devotees. Now let's go to verse number 83. Sumati Mataji, want to read?
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Krishna Bhakti Janma Mula Haya Sadhu Sangha Krishna Prema Janme Teho Puna Mukhya Anga. Translation by Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. The root cause of devotional service to Lord Krishna is association with advanced devotees. Even when one's dormant love for Krishna awakens, association with devotees is still most essential. Hare Krishna.
So one who is just on the path of awakening love for Krishna, trying to awaken love for Krishna, for them also association of devotees is important. And even for those who have achieved love for Krishna, for them also, because association of devotees will make their love grow more dense. It will thicken their attachment to Krishna, their love for Krishna. So here it is mentioned that the root cause of devotional service to Lord Krishna is association with advanced devotees. And even when one's dormant love for Krishna has awakened, still association is most essential. So it's not like if when one reaches a stage where they have achieved Krishna Prema, then they will just go leave association and they will go to the forest and meditate silently. No, even then they will associate with devotees and that association will make their love for Krishna more dense. That is why Prabhupada stressed so much that at least once a week we should go to the temple and have physical association with devotees. And now with technology, through Zoom, we are able to associate with devotees. So we should take advantage of all these things. We should never think that I can just make it on my own. No, Shastras are saying, see here in Chaitanya Charitamrita, the same point from different references is being quoted to help us understand that association of devotees is of utmost importance. Okay, let's go to 84. Krishnamurti Prabhu, want to read?
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Mataji, this is to Bhagavatam style?
Yes, Prabhu. Bhagavad Gita.
भावापवर्गो ब्राह्मणस्तो यद भावे जनस्य तार्ति अच्युत समागमः सत्संगमो यर्हि तदिव तत्कातुः परवारे से त्वयि जयते रतिः. I am not read up to your mark, Mataji. Sorry.
Fine, Prabhu. Please don't worry. Absolutely fine.
Translation by A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Prabhupada ki jai. Oh my Lord, oh infallible Supreme Person, when a person wandering throughout the universes becomes eligible for liberation from material existence, he gets an opportunity to associate with devotees. When he associates with devotees, his attraction for you is awakened. You are the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the highest goal of the topmost devotees, and the Lord of the universe. Hare Krishna Mataji. Shall I read purport, Mataji?
Yes, yes, Prabhu. Please.
It has to be roll, Mataji. Oh. This is the quotation from Srimad Bhagavatam 10.5, 51.50. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Thank you, Prabhu. So here it is mentioned that a person wandering throughout the universe becomes eligible for liberation. When this happens, then they get an opportunity to associate with devotees. So even though now by Srila Prabhupada's mercy, we have temples all over the world, we have these online classes, it has become very easy to get association. But that should not make us feel that this is not so important. We should still understand that this is a very rare opportunity. Out of millions and millions of people, you get this opportunity to associate with devotees. So we should understand its importance and take advantage. And then when one associates with devotees, what happens? The attraction for Krishna is awakened. And then it's not that we should leave association then. When we keep associating, then what happens is we are watering the seed. And then the highest goal of the topmost devotees, the Lord of the universe, we are able to get knowledge of Krishna through this association of devotees. Now let's go to 85. Lalita Vinodini Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
अथ आत्यन्तिकं क्षेमं अथ आत्यन्तिकं क्षेमं पृच्छामो भवतो अनगाः संसारे अस्मिन् क्षणार्धो अपि सत्सङ्गस्येव नृणाम्. Translation by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Oh devotees, you who are free from all sins, let me inquire from you about that which is supremely auspicious for all living entities. Association with a pure devotee for even half a moment in this material world is the greatest treasure for human society. Purport. This is a quotation from Srimad Bhagavatam 11.2.30. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. So it is mentioned that association with a pure devotee for even half a moment in this material world is the greatest treasure for human society. How great is the association of devotees? So when we get a chance, for example, if some sannyasis, disciples of Srila Prabhupada, or other sannyasis in ISKCON, or other great devotees in ISKCON, we get to know that they have come, in our city, or we have an opportunity to go and get their darshan. We should never miss these opportunities. Or even hearing from them online, we should be very, very eager to get this association more and more, because we don't know, we don't understand, but subconsciously or consciously, these things are having a great impact on us. The glance of a devotee, just a little glance, how it can change one's life, we don't know. So we should try to get the association more and more. Okay. Now let's go to 86. Padmini Haripriya Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Satam prasanmangam virya samvido bhavanti hritkarna rasayana katha tajjoshanadvasva pavargavarmani shraddha ratir bhaktir anukramishati. Translation by His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada, Jai Srila Prabhupada. The spirituality powerful message of Godhead can be properly discussed only in a society of devotees, and it is greatly pleasing to hear in that association. If one hears from devotees, the way of transcendental experience quickly opens, and gradually one attains firm faith that in due course develops into the attraction and devotion. Purport. This quotation is from Srimad Bhagavatam 3.25.25. For an explanation, see Adi Lila 1.60. Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you so much, Mataji. So another beautiful shlok from Srimad Bhagavatam, where it is mentioned that the spiritually powerful message of Godhead can be properly discussed only in a society of devotees, and it is greatly pleasing to hear in that association. See, because if we are associating with devotees, hearing from them, then the personal nature of Krishna consciousness gets clear to them. Why? Because these great devotees are associates of Krishna. So when we are hearing from them, these things become clear in our mind. And that is the benefit of continued association of devotees. And in the association of devotees, because devotees are non-envious of Krishna and they delight in speaking about Krishna, so it becomes all the more pleasing. They like speaking about Krishna. They cannot get, enough of it. And that love that they are sharing with us, that really affects us too. They will always like to glorify the Lord. The non-devotees, if we are talking to them, then they will only be blaspheming Krishna, saying negative things or saying things which make us sidetrack. But in the association of devotees, they are relishing that that speaking about those pastimes of Krishna, and that is why it is so much more pleasing. So it is mentioned, if one hears from devotees, the way of transcendental experience quickly opens, and gradually one attains firm faith that in due course develops into attraction and devotion. So this hearing and association should be continuous. When we hear from devotees, we develop that initial attraction. And then what should we do? We should keep watering that seed. Like Ajamila, he got the darshan of the Vishnu Dutas and he got to hear from them. Then he did not stop there. He went to Haridwar, where he was hearing, where he was chanting, where he was associating, where he was taking bath in the Ganges. So in this way, we also need to keep watering the seed. Okay. Now let's go to the next shloka. Padma Mataji, you want to read 87?
Yeah, Mataji, Hare Krishna.
Krishna.
Satsanga त्याग ए वैष्णव आचारा स्त्री संगी एक असाधु Krishna Bhakta Ara. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. A Vaishnava should always avoid the association of ordinary people. Common people are very much materially attached, especially to women. Vaishnava should also avoid the company of those who are not devotees of Lord Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
So two types of non-devotee association that one must give up. One is Stri Sangi and the other is non-devotee association. Stri Sangi means people who are always talking about and discussing, associating with the opposite gender, and who are very contaminated in their consciousness. So if we associate with such people, then what happens is that our consciousness also becomes contaminated. So kama karma bija, the seed of a lust, the seed of enjoyment that is within the heart, it gets water if we are associating with these people. So gradually what happens is that the things that we are trying to stay away from, they will start looking attractive. So that's what happened to Ajamil, right? He was from a Brahmin family following all the principles. But when he saw that particular site, what happened? He started feeling agitated and the downfall started from there. So it has to be, we should never play with fire. We should not think that, oh, now I'm strong enough. I can just see whatever, I can meet whoever, and then my consciousness will not get affected. If that was the case, then why would our acharyas, why would Lord Chaitanya warn us against all these things? If our scriptures are warning against non-devotee association or Stri Sangi association, then we have to understand that this is actually very contaminating. A pure devotee is not affected by these things. That's why Prabhupada could go in the middle of the hippies and not get affected by that hippie culture. He could preach them, he could bring them out of that ditch. But then that's not possible for everyone. So we have to be very careful not to associate with Stri Sangis. And then non-devotees, people who are constantly talking about materialistic things, who have only materialistic aspirations, cinema, romance, cricket, politics, fashion, etc., where there is no discussion of Krishna at all. So from such people also we need to keep a distance. Now, here we are talking about association, where there is an exchange of ideas, where we get affected by their thoughts. There will be so many people in the life that we are leading, whether in our family or in our workplace, in our surroundings, who will be non-devotees, who will be talking about these things, or who are Stri Sankis also. But we have to understand that we have to maintain that mental distance from such people. We may not be able to maintain the physical distance in all cases, but at least that mental distance should be there, whereby we don't let their thoughts affect us. Okay, so there should not be that intimate exchange of thoughts with such people. The people who are just living that I, me, mine life, who have no gratitude towards Krishna. Gradually, we'll know that the association of such people is it drains our energy also, because they're just constantly talking about materialistic topics. So we have to be very, very careful that we should avoid the company of such people. Okay, now let's go to 88.
Mataji, Hare Krishna.
Yes, Mataji.
What you said was all true. But Mataji, sometimes there are so many relations.
Yes,
they are
Mataji.
non-devotees. So it becomes very, very difficult. So what we do, we try to avoid them. So what happens? We become like the fish out of water, completely cut off from them, everybody.
Yes.
It becomes very difficult. So people start blaming, why aren't you associated? They are related. What do we do in such case? Although we know in our heart, but they can't understand that.
Yes. Yeah, Mataji, that's why the physical distance is not possible all the time. So
Yeah.
we will have to go, we may have to attend functions, we may have to meet them. But the thing that we need to avoid is that intimate exchange of ideas. Are we talking to them about, philosophy, or, where they are talking about very deeply materialistic topics? Then mentally we need to detach ourselves. We can still be there, but not take their thoughts and imbibe their principles in
Yes.
life. That is what.
Yeah, Mata, sometimes when they talk like that, I slowly, I change it to Krishna's topic. Then I start talking about Krishna, then they keep quiet and they keep on listening, whether they agree or not. But that is, I don't get affected.
That's the best, Mataji. If we can talk to them about Krishna, at least they are listening. That is wonderful. You are doing something that will benefit them. Sometimes it's not possible to talk about Krishna, but mentally we can detach ourselves. That,
sometimes sometimes they don't agree, but still they quietly they listen. They say yes, yes, then they keep quiet. So
that is
also
great, Mataji. Someday these talks that you are talking to them will benefit them. So that is the best. If we can take Krishna in their life, that is the best. If we are not able to do that, then at least we should not get affected by what they are saying. So these words of Shastra, we should remind ourselves. See, it happens very subtly. They will say something and then we'll start thinking, oh, maybe what I am doing is wrong. Maybe I should not get so involved into Krishna consciousness. Maybe I am only wrong. But then we should remind us that no. Shastra is warning me against this association. So what I am doing, what we are doing on the path of Krishna consciousness, what devotees are telling me, that is only correct. I should not get affected by these. So like, the lotus flower, it is there in the pond, but it's not getting right. That's what we need to do, Mataji. That whenever we have to, in a grihastha life, we have to sometimes associate, right? We have to meet them. But that intimate exchange of ideas, us getting affected by their mentality, that is what we need to be very careful of.
Yeah. Sometimes in a conversation, when you're in a circle, about 7, 8, people around, when they keep on discussing, they don't. I quietly get up and go. There's no point trying to convince them. They don't want to listen. So I pretend I have some work and I just go from there. What else to do, Mataji?
Yes, that's true, Mataji. Yeah. So we'll have to see situation by situation how best we can protect ourselves. Yes. Our consciousness we need to protect, Mataji. That's very important. Yeah, let's read the next 88 to 90. Lalita Vinodini Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Satyam Shaucham Daya Maunam Buddhir Hrir Shrir Yashak Kshama Shamo Damo Bhagascheti Yat Sangat Yati Sankshayam Teshvasanteshu Mudeshu Kanditatmasva Sadhushu Sangam Nakuryachochyeshu Yoshit Kridam Mrigeshu Cha Natatasya Bhaven Moho Bandhaschanya Prasangatah Yoshit Sangat Yato Pumso Yathatat Sangi Sangatah. Translation by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. By association with worldly people, one becomes devoid of truthfulness, kindliness, mercy, gravity, spiritual intelligence, shyness, austerity, fame, forgiveness, control of the mind, control of the senses, fortune, and all opportunities. One should not at any time associate with a coarse fool who is bereft of the knowledge of self-realization and who is no more than a toy animal in the hands of a woman. The illusion and bondage that accrue to a man from attachment to any other object are not as complete as that resulting from association with a woman or with men too much attached to women. Purport. Should I continue, Mataji? Purport.
Mataji, I'll just take points from the purpose because it's slightly long. Yeah, thank you so much. So these are the warning given by Kapil Dev. These verses are spoken by Kapil Dev. He is giving us a warning what kind of the association we should cultivate, what kind of qualities we should cultivate, what not to do. So he is talking about pious and impious activities and the symptoms of those who are devoid of devotional service to Krishna. So Prabhupada is saying that generally people do not know about the miserable conditions within the womb of a mother in any species of life. Once a child is out, the child completely forgets what kind of suffering one was having. But then what happens with bad association, but gradually falls into lower species, and the association with the opposite gender is greatly stressed. So it is mentioned association with women, but it means association with the opposite gender. That is the greatest attraction, and if one gets attached to that, then one falls down to the lower species. And it is mentioned that if one is too lusty, then they become a dog in the next life. So Bhagavad Gita 13th chapter 22nd verse, it is mentioned that the living entity in material nature thus follows the ways of life, enjoying the three modes of nature. This is due to his association with that material nature. Thus he meets with good and evil among various species. So if we let ourselves just go and entangle and just driven by our desires, then that is a very risky proposition. Then it is mentioned, Prabhupada is mentioning that there are four ashramas, brahmacharya, grihas, vanaprastha, and sannyas. And in this brahmacharis, sannyasis, and vanaprasthis, they are completely forbidden to associate with women, and that intimate association. Only grihasthas are allowed, and that too for the propagation of nice children. So this interaction between genders has to be very, very limited. Even in grihasthas, should be only for getting good children, and in other ashramas it should definitely be avoided. Even Srila Prabhupada, who is a pure devotee, just to teach us, he would never talk to even his sister alone. He would make sure that one of his disciples is sitting there. Now it will not affect Prabhupada, but he's teaching us that how risky these things can be. Okay, so we have to be very, very cautious of these. Okay, now let's read 91. Someone like to read? Yeah, Lalita Vinodini.
Yeah,
Please.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Param hutavaha jwala Panjarantar vyavastitihi na shauri chinta vimukta janasambhasa vaishasam. Translation by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada ki jai. It is better to accept the miseries of being encaged within bars and surrounded by burning flames than to associate with those bereft of Krishna consciousness. Such association is a very great hardship. Hare Krishna. Purport. This is quotation from Katyayana Samhita. Katyayana Samhita.
Thank you, Mataji. See, because if we are engaged within bars surrounded by burning flames, that is going to harm us physically. But such association, that negative association, is a very great hardship. Why? Because it ruins our consciousness. And then if one's consciousness is ruined, then all the actions will be the abominable ones, and then one falls into lower species. So it is very, very risky. Constantly see many, many shlokas we are learning about the kind of association that we should develop and the kind of association that we need to stay away from. Okay, now Sumati Mataji, you want to read 92?
Hare Krishna Mataji. Ma drakshih kshina punyan kvachitapi bhagavat bhaktihinan manushyan. Translation by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. One should not even see those who are bereft of devotional service in Krishna consciousness and who are therefore devoid of pious activities.
Thank you so much. So the association of such kind of people should be avoided, people who are bereft of devotional service and who are devoid of pious activities, because anyone turning away from Krishna, naturally they will not have these pious qualities. It is only the people who are following the path of Krishna consciousness who will have these good qualities. That is the kind of association we should be hankering for, and we should avoid the association of non-devotees. Okay. Now, if you all permit, then for 2 minutes, we can just sing this beautiful song that is written by Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur. It is Madhya Godrume. And in this, Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur is saying that in the land of Madhya, on the island of Godruma, that is Godrumadip, the magnanimous Lord Nityananda has opened up the marketplace of the holy name meant for the deliverance of all fallen souls. So Nityanand Prabhu is so merciful that he has opened up this marketplace of the holy name and he is distributing the holy name. And he was saying that he was calling to people, oh people of faith, oh please, by the order of Lord Gauranga, he was begging people that you should chant Krishna's name, you should worship Krishna, and you should teach others about Krishna. And being careful to remain free of offenses, just take the holy name of Lord Krishna. Krishna is our mother, Krishna is our father, and Krishna is the treasure of our life. Giving up all sinful activities, carry on your worldly duties only in relation to Lord Krishna. The showing of compassion to other souls by loudly chanting the holy name of Krishna is the essence of all forms of religion. So this is about, how Lord Nityananda was preaching about Lord Krishna's names to everyone. So let's quickly sing this. नदिया गोद्रु में नित्यानंद महाजान, पतिया छे नाम हटा जीवेरा करान। नदिया गोद्रु में नित्यानंद महाजान, पतिया छे नाम हटा जीवेरा करान। श्रद्धावान जन है, श्रद्धावान जन है, प्रभु राजाए भाई मांगिए भिक्षा। बोलो कृष्ण भजो कृष्ण कोरो कृष्ण शिक्षा। अपराध शून्य होय लोह कृष्ण नाम, कृष्ण माता कृष्ण पिता कृष्ण धन प्राण। कृष्णेर संसार कोरो छाड़िया नाचार, जीवे दोया कृष्ण नाम सर्व धर्म सार। नदिया गोद्रु में नित्यानंद महाजान, पतिया छे नाम हटा जीवेरा करान। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna. So sorry I took longer time today. My apologies. If there are any questions or any points you would like to add, we've already gone beyond time.
Thank you for the wonderful class, Mother.
Thank you. Thank you for joining. So once again, happy Nityananda Triyodashi to all of you. Let's pray to Lord Nityananda that whatever we have read today, we are able to imbibe that in our lives by His mercy, by Lord Chaitanya's mercy, by Srila Prabhupada's mercy, and I will mercy. Thank you all so much for joining today. Vancha kalpatrubhyascha kripa sindhubhyaivacha patitanam
Thank you, Mataji. Very nice
Thank you very much,
explanation.
Mataji.
Jai Shri
Thanks a
Prabhupada.
lot.
Thank you all so much.
Thank you very much, Mataji. Hari Bol.
Thank you.